Okay, so we are recording and we are going to do this live today. So this is a test and let's just see what happens. I'm going to do it live on Facebook. I have no idea what's going to happen, to be honest. This is really crazy.
This is how we learn.
Okay, so it says your name and profile picture, who can see it. Okay. Um, I'm going to say public on this one and let's continue. This is interesting. Okay.
You're gonna try it.
Okay, I hit that. Choose what you allow. Oh, that's fine too. Oh, well, this is totally weird. It wants okay. It's asking me questions, so it's asking me what the meeting's about. So I'm going to say author spotlight. Whoop. Yeah, if I hit the right keys.
Live and
This is fun. This is fun.
live and learn.
Okay, and where am I going to share it? I'm going to share it on. I can share it on my timeline or on my page. I'm going to share it on my timeline because then I can share it other places later. Okay, so we're going live on Facebook. Okay, got it. It's preparing stuff in the background, so we'll see what this looks like. Okay, it's redirecting to a Facebook Live page. Okay. Um, well, this is interesting. I'm not seeing any video, so. Oh, I guess I have to. Do I hit the. I don't know if I hit the thingy or
It
not.
says it's live for me.
Okay, so I don't need to do anything else. Because there's the circle with the arrow in it. And I'm worried I'm going to get like feedback or something.
No, I
Um,
think we're good. I think we're on.
okay, then if we're on, we're going to go. Okay, so today's author spotlight, we are experimenting, and this is my first Facebook Live author spotlight with my friend Judy Dang. And I'm Judy Baker, book marketing mentor. Two Judys, how can you miss? We are awesome. And Author Spotlight is all about the author, the book, and their business. And Judy is going to tell you a little bit about herself, and then she's going to tell you how she created this book. So, Judy, I'm turning it over to you.
Thank you, Judy Baker. This is my working title for a book on perfectionism. It's for Asian American women on how to let go of perfectionism. This is my working title so far.
I like
Working title. Where I am in the book journey is I finished the manuscript. It took me 5 months. I'm in a 1-year book program. So the first 5 months was writing the manuscript.
Yep.
Now editing, book cover, layout, all that good stuff. And the book is coming out September, this September 2022. So it'll be a year from when I started.
You just zoomed through this. Most people take way longer, but I know partly how you were able to do this because you are really good at productivity. You're good at setting benchmarks that are not crazy, and you got support to do what you wanted to do. And I think that's a real key, isn't it?
Oh, those three, yeah. The biggest key was having a group to do it with. And I'm gonna put in what the group is, the program is called, it's a nonprofit called Creator Institute. It's a 1-year program,
Okay.
very affordable. I could not have done this by myself. I don't know how authors write books by themselves.
Oh,
I could not.
nobody does it by themselves, really, really. I mean, seriously. And especially with a business book, if you are not paying attention to what your outcome is on the other side and who you are hoping to, or not even, I'm not even going to use the word hoping, the people you know you can influence, If you don't write with them in mind, why are you even doing it?
Well, maybe you can help me with that, Judy,
Yeah.
because that's a question I've had with my book. So my business is time management coaching. I coach men, women, mostly women. Uh, this book isn't that related to my business that much. It has a little bit of overlap because perfectionism often stops people from being productive and efficient because they're like working too much on something, right? Get lost in the weeds. We want things perfect. We have high expectations of ourselves, and then we spend hours and hours and hours. So my book was it started out as a passion project to understand myself because I suffered from perfectionism, and last year I had a depressive episode, um, and I found out in a therapy session that it was due to perfectionism. And I told my therapist, I've been working on this for like 20 plus years. I thought I was done, but apparently I wasn't. And so last year I said, all right, fine. I'm going to get to the bottom of this once and for all. So I sought out, like, where does perfectionism come from? What is it about my family and culture that contributes? Because there's a special, everybody, perfectionism crosses all cultures, but there's an added layer to Asianness. I wanted to explore that because there are gobs of books about perfectionism already, but there wasn't one for me and my cultural background. So my question for you is, this book is for Asian American women, but that's not who I want to, just say I focus on, right, in my business. So how do you help clients, navigate that question?
Well, you're bringing up a good point. Your book is specifically targeting Asian American women. However, you can say that because it is your story, it came out of your need to understand what was the standard, the unattainable standard, probably, that was happening in your head. And, when I saw that you were writing this book, I thought back to my school years when I was in elementary and junior high and high school. There were three Asian American students. Two of them went on to be doctors. One went on to be a brain surgeon. The other's a gerontologist. And the third is a housewife. But they all had, I mean, we all had standards, but they had crazy standards that it just, kind of, I went, ugh. And this is a universal problem. You are right about that. But when you focus your message on the group that you most want to reach, the other people will find you. And because you don't only associate with other Asian American women, people who know you in your community are going to want to read this book. I mean, I helped back your book. And no, Eastern European, sweetie. But I suffer from this procrastination because of perfectionism. So I don't think you're going to have a problem if you focus on Asian American women, and especially right now. This is not going to influence the long-term marketing of your book, but there is such a large conversation about South Asian women, people who are identify in that whole area. So I think this is a golden opportunity for you. So don't worry that people who aren't in this niche are going to ignore you. They're not.
Mm,
Speak your truth,
mm.
be convicted, and other people will find you. They really will. And in fact, I was listening today to a gentleman who is in his 60s, and his memoir, which he wrote, I think, over 12 years ago, was about his experience right on the cusp of the civil rights movement. He's Black. His book is still selling.
Oh,
But we haven't solved the problem, have we?
Mm,
Does
okay,
that
thank
help?
you.
Does that help?
Okay, so stick with my story. It's a unique perspective. It doesn't mean that it will exclude other readers. Okay. All
No,
right.
it won't.
Yeah, that's a
So
perennial question around business and niches, right? Like, niches
it's
are yeah, niches are important. How deep do I go?
well, authors who stay in their lane do better than ones who say, "Oh, my book's for everybody," because that doesn't really give any anchor points. And think about the books that I know you did a lot of research. I mean, I know you, so I already know that for a fact. You did a lot of research, not only through you interviewed other women. I know that you read voraciously. And if you look at the books that are meaningful for you, look at look at the back of the jacket copy. Almost every one of them is going to have a very targeted, pinpointed message. And
Mm,
and I mean your time management and productivity uh, abilities are are universal, but this is a really juicy area to explore right now because, well, yeah, I'm proselytizing here. Women in particular have a more difficult time getting away from that being perfect
mhm,
image.
yeah.
And well, I'm not writing a short story about that right now. A funny one. I decided a funny one that being beautiful is, it's hard. It's really hard, and it kind of erases the rest of who you are. If all you are is a
Yeah.
body and all that. Yeah, no, we want people who are beautiful on the inside as well as in their heads
Mm.
and outside. And, I think that's kind of key to that.
Here's another question for you. Are you ready?
Yeah. I love it. You're asking me questions.
Getting marketing advice at the same time.
Hey, I love it.
Okay, so Asian, typical traditional Asian culture teaches us to not rock the boat, you know, don't draw attention to ourselves, be quiet, hard worker, be. So with this book and marketing the book, I feel anxiety around being the center of attention, basically.
Well, you're exposing yourself. I mean, you already exposed one thing about having a depressive episode, and join the club. Yeah, I've been paralyzed for about the last couple of months.
So what do you recommend to authors in your marketing and your marketing consultant hat about that fear of being in the spotlight?
Well, especially in light of your cultural indoctrination, because it is an indoctrination. I had it in my family too. It was like, don't, yeah. I was a theater major. My mom said, don't laugh so loud, don't draw attention to yourself, don't, the whole thing. I'm the total opposite of that. And I think because you want to help other people, if you focus on what I learned in my 30s, was this was a gift from Suzanne Rowan, who wrote How to Work a Room. If you focus on the people you're helping, suddenly it's not about you standing up there. It's not about people looking at you. You're holding a space for a conversation about this topic that can transform lives. That you aren't the only one, and you don't have to be loud and flashy to share the message. But I'm wondering, is your family annoyed at you right now? Is that part of the worry?
No, no. Mm-mm. They're pretty happy for me.
Well, that's good. That's good, because a lot of people, when they write, yeah, the family is going, ugh, please don't reveal that. Um, what what comes up for you when you think about being in the spotlight? What's the feeling in your body that you get when that happens?
Exposed. Like going to school without clothes on, like that kind of fear. Going
Okay.
to
Okay.
school and discovering that everyone else is dressed except me. Yeah, so that level of exposure.
Okay.
Uh, yeah.
When you've done workshops, has that same issue come up?
No, not like this. No, not like this. I think there's a story in my head that there's going to be gobs of people reading this book and that they'll have negative judgment. So
Oh,
two assumptions, right?
okay. Yeah. Um, well, not everyone's going to like everybody's book. Even if it's a great book, not everybody's going to like it. I mean, you and I have both read bestsellers and went, seriously? Um, but you know what? I would kind of refocus it, because since you've done a lot of outreach already, and
Took a lot.
yeah, yeah, and it was most. I mean, did you have any negative responses?
No, no.
Okay, you did this exercise with me. Get out some post-it notes. We both have them. I'm gonna grab a pad, but get out some post-it notes,
Mhm.
and on each post-it note, write a positive response you had and an achievement you had.
Mm.
You know, I love this whole idea. You do this. You write down
Mhm.
good stuff. Make,
Mhm.
make a board, stick it on the wall wherever you can see it, so you can remember that you have value. People love you. I mean, seriously, I know this. People love you. And even if you get a negative review, that's probably one person out of, I'm
Mm.
going to say, out of hundreds or thousands. And
Mm.
don't even worry about it, because sometimes it's about their stuff. It's
Mm.
not about you at all. And a way to get over that feeling overexposed, if you're doing a book talk, if you're
Mhm.
doing an event, invite somebody who loves you to be there with you.
Mm. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that'll help. And
Okay,
you know,
I wrote down two already.
okay, okay, those are good things. What else? What else? So you'll do more.
Somebody said that, and then somebody said, "I need this book." I need this book. It was
Absolutely.
very,
Yeah.
very affirming.
Well, you're in a community right now to help you to get the book produced and out there in the world. And I'm in another group, um, about getting your voice out there. I'm in Nancy Juten's uh, broadcast your brilliance boot camp. And what I learned from Nancy shows up the same way you do. Generous heart, and doesn't worry about being perfect. She said, she grew up with a father who was an actor, so she always was in the background. But she learned in her business as a marketer that it's more about, can you delight your audience every time and focus on delighting people, and don't worry about the stuff that isn't right. Because I mean, like she says, I'm not a techie. She has people who help her do stuff. She doesn't have to be word perfect, because the message is the most important part of the interaction.
Okay, the message. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
cool. Okay, ready for another one?
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
I'm so milking it. Okay, book is coming out in September, which is three
Yeah.
months.
Yeah.
What what would you recommend an author do before their book gets published?
Well, you're doing one of the things I recommend. Get booked on as many guest spots as you can, because this. It's not about buy my book, buy my book. It's about, I'm telling my story. here's what I learned, here's what might help you. And podcasts are like terrific.
Okay.
And I know you've got graphics. Like you said, the book is your. This is your still your working title, but you did something very bold. Now, was this part of your program? Did they help you with the fundraising aspect of it?
Yes, 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 yes.
I
So,
want you to talk about that because
okay,
that is book marketing. Getting crowdfunding for your book is book marketing.
okay, got it. So in April, uh, our program, they advised us in the beginning to talk about our book right away. Right away. Just say, hey, I'm writing a book, and to change our LinkedIn title to
Author.
aspiring author or current author. So make it public that I'm writing the book. Don't wait until I publish to let everyone know. So that was number one. Just say, hey, everybody, I'm writing a book, just to make it more concrete. Second was, yes, the Indiegogo campaign, raise money. My publisher helped me set up an Indiegogo campaign to raise money to cover the costs of producing the book. So hiring editor, they have editors to pay for the editors, pay for the layout designers, book cover. So the Indiegogo campaign lasted 30 days. And the minimum I need to raise was $6,500. $6,500. So I created a chart to track my progress. So each thousand was stripped here. And I added the people's names of the contributors. And each day, 2 days before the Indiegogo campaign, I did a daily post of, hey, 13 days to go before pre-sale. Hey, 12 days to go before pre-sale, just to get the word out. And in the 30 days, every 2 days, I'd have a post, either a thank you post or a this is where I am post. So I reached my goal in 20 days, 6,500 in 20 days. I was like, woo! And so the stretch goal was, if I raised 2 more thousand, that would cover the cost of an audiobook. So I set that goal, 8,500, next one. And within 10 days, I was able to raise 88.23. And part of that stretch goal was, I said, I will dye my hair if I reach my stretch goal. And everyone who contributed gets to vote on the color. So that was another facet, is to get involvement into something fun. Get people involved into something fun, that they're involved. So yes, I put out the poll. It was purple. I dyed my hair purple last month. And this chart tracks the progress. So what I learned from that Indiegogo campaign was promote early, tell everyone I know, even before anything happens, involve my community, and put something fun together.
Well, you embodied all of that. And I mean, that very action, most people just get freaked out about doing crowdfunding because it's like, oh, I'm going to have a big party and I'm inviting people and nobody shows up. But how many people participated? And I know you hit your dollar number, but how many people participated?
120 people.
So you already have 120 people who believe in you. And okay, the number, it's simple numbers. 120 people times 250. Each of us represent 250 people in our community. And those people, you want to cultivate them to say, oh, I hit the goal. Here's something you can share with your folks. So you can send out an email.
Okay.
And, you can do an email and invite them to do that. I just saw a really brilliant campaign. Write all the emails that you want them to send out, and If you want to create graphics, you and I both love Canva because it's fun and it's fast. Create a bunch of graphics that relate to your book. It could be, this is one of my favorites,
Okay.
and most people just ignore it. In your book, I bet you can't. How many chapters do you have?
About 26.
Okay. You can find a quote in every chapter, can't you?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. So you want to find a quote from every chapter, turn it into a graphic,
Okay.
start putting those out on your different feeds from LinkedIn,
Mhm.
Instagram, Facebook, probably Twitter. I think you do Twitter too. Twitter too. Ugh. Yeah, if my mouth works. Um, and
Really? Cool. I can get my VA to do that.
exactly, and that is a perfect opportunity for your VA to do that. And I mean, our friend Ted Perdomo did it with his third edition. He did it with each edition, but in his third edition of the Ultimate Guide to LinkedIn,
Mhm.
the first one he just had one VA do it. On the third edition, he had 5 different people go into the book
Mhm.
and find different things that they thought were post worthy.
Interesting.
So he had a much more diverse conversation going out there. And, we all know social media, we have no control over who sees what when.
Mhm.
What we do have control over is getting people into our email list.
Mm.
And so with each of those posts, always have a way for people to connect with you. You're
Okay.
really using social to get people on your email list, just like you did for your crowdfunding.
Mhm.
And from there, you invite them to do other things like,
Mhm.
if you have advanced reader copies
Mhm.
so that you can get reviews before the book is out, and then on the day of they can get posted. And
Okay.
so those things all help.
Cool.
Now, here's another thing for you. I know I'm full of good ideas here. Um, every school that you attended that has an alumni newsletter, if you haven't already
Mm.
contacted them,
Mhm.
contact them. And you might even pitch as, I have an article to pitch to you. Don't say it exactly like that, but you
Mm.
can say, I'm an alumni, I did this, and um, I would love to share what I learned in this process,
Okay.
and if it's relevant to that student population. I mean,
Oh.
I got my graduate degree from USF, and kiddo, that new, I mean, it's a magazine. It comes out, I think, twice a year. It's huge, and there are incredible articles, but you're an expert. People want to know what you have to say.
Okay. So those are all great. Thank you. So using quotes from the book, social, and then drive the viewers to sign up for a newsletter.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you're comfortable doing video.
Mhm.
So post some short videos, just, when you've got the quote, you can do a 1 or 2 minute video
Okay.
based on the quote.
Okay. Again. Okay. I got another one. I got another one.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You are too much fun. I love this.
That's my last one. My last question.
Okay.
What is a good lead magnet for a nonfiction business ebook?
Funny you should ask that question because this comes up all the time. Um, you can have a chapter of your book as a lead magnet. You can give that away and then give them the information on how to connect with you, for the when the book is available. Um, After you publish, I want to encourage you to use this free tool. It's called Books to Read, and it's
Hmm.
the number 2. And it's something that Draft to Digital came up with, and it's no cost, and you don't have to, you know, have a different account on Draft to Digital. But on Books to Read, you can create what's known as a universal book link,
Mm,
and then everywhere your book is available, I mean, you can decide what, you know, so you know what stores it's going to be available at, where it's going to be distributed, but you can select which ones you want to include, which ones you don't, and then you just tell people this one universal book link. They
okay.
can click on that, and then they'll see all the different stores where they can make a choice on where to buy it. But before
Huh?
the book comes out, you could, so you know, giving away a chapter is one. You might want to do a master class based on the book,
Mm,
and you can do that before you launch, after you launch. Um, you can. Do you have any kinds of do you have any questionnaires in your book?
yeah.
Okay. Um, People love to answer a poll, you know, a short poll that gives them some information about themselves. So if you could take a look at the questionnaires you've got in the book, could you turn that into something where you're saying, "Are you curious what, you know, blah blah you are?" Then take the quiz. But the quiz is qualifying people to be a client. It's also giving information about the book, and you get to see what people are interested in talking about more.
Okay, cool. A quiz,
Hmm.
chapter of a book. Do you think the intro is interesting enough as a lead magnet?
It probably is, knowing you, because I mean, you're funny, and you know, you are a good writer, and the intro is fine. You know, think about other books. Like I just finished two books in a trilogy. The third one isn't out yet, but at the end of that, of the first book, they gave a teaser for the second book, and I said, "Oh, well, yeah, that's a no-brainer. I'm off to the races." So the intro can do it. And now, did you write the intro, or did you have someone else?
I wrote it.
Okay, then yes, I think the intro probably would be a good one. And what you want to do is you want to package it. You want to have a visual that makes it look juicy.
Mhm.
That's where you can go back. You know, I did the whole thing on how to use Canva to create a lead magnet. You can go over Canva, create a neat image
Mhm.
for the lead magnet, and then use that.
Okay,
Oh, Judy, my God, we're missing the boat here.
we are.
Do we both love Loom?
Yes.
Loom. Okay.
LOOM.
Yeah. So do some short looms
Okay.
with a call to action.
Oh,
Oh,
okay, cool.
yeah.
I got it.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
I got it. Loom.
I love Loom. I mean, I'm so glad you got me hooked on it. I use it, you know, it's really funny because now I use it for things where I just want someone to do something. And the fact that it integrates with LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook, oh, and Instagram, it's like a piece of cake, honey.
And it saves time. So effective.
So effective. Yeah.
Ooh, thank you.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you see your business changing as a result of writing this book? And if so, can you talk to us about that?
I know it will. I just don't know how.
Okay.
I have a feeling it will. It's like I have a sense that, doors will open and more opportunities. I just don't know what they look like right now.
Yeah. Do you have like any private groups for discussing the issues in your book?
I created a private Facebook group for everyone who contributed.
Okay. You might want to consider creating a public Facebook group that anyone could join. Think about it, because we both know it's some maintenance going on there.
Time suck me.
But there may already be some place where people are talking about this.
True.
And you might want to look at how can I cultivate
Mhm.
that. Are you using LinkedIn right now a lot to let people know that the book's coming out and what you're doing?
Oh, no, not right now. After the campaign ended, I was like,
Okay, okay. Um,
but
you want to be continuing the conversation on LinkedIn. So do you have a standard set of operating procedures for how you're using social media?
no, what is that?
Oh, you probably could write the book on this. Okay, so I realized I didn't write down all my steps when I was doing my author spotlight, and therefore, guess what I forgot? I forgot something important. It's like you forget the scissors when you're going to a workshop and you need to, to cut something, and you have there's no scissors in the building. So what I did is I simply sat down. Yeah, I now got okay. I'm going to show my ugly ass paper here. I have
Ooh.
other notes. Yeah, I have my standard. This is my standard operating procedures, and then I went, oh, I need a piece of paper. So I'm writing all this other stuff. So I wrote down, what do I do? You you all sign up. I get your headshot. I get the book cover. I get a little bio and everything. And then after we record the episode, I was forgetting all the stuff because I wasn't doing it every day.
Right.
Yeah. So I wrote down, okay, so you do the episode, do minor edits, and
So a
then
checklist.
a checklist. It's a checklist, and it's saving my bacon because I'm not having to go, what do I
You
do
could
next?
use that as a lead magnet yourself.
Uh, Thank you, dear. I think I will. I think I will do that because, yeah, okay. Blinding flash of the obvious. I'm going to tell one of my mistakes. Um, I first created a page on my blog. A page. Stupid to do this. And I certainly went, oh, that's not how I want to post all of these because I'm going to continue doing this. They need to be individual posts.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I had to reconstruct what I'd started and I left one of them out. But by doing individual posts and having that category author spotlight, it
Right,
shows up like a page. Nobody else knows it's not
right.
a page. So I wrote everything down and then I went, okay, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to ask the authors after I did the interview and we spent all this time and I spent all the time editing. I forgot to ask the authors to share it with people. I know. Is that a dodo mistake? Yeah. And I went, well, you know what? Because I didn't have it down. When things are in your head, you can't see, is there a landmine?
Right. You can't remember it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad use of our brains.
Exactly. So that's all I'm suggesting that you do. So if you're already posting to Facebook, why can't you post it to LinkedIn?
Right, yeah, same. Mhm.
And when you're doing LinkedIn, you want to do some articles, not just posts, because
Oh,
articles can be seen by more people.
do they? Okay, long form articles. Okay, what do you think about sharing parts of the book as a long form article?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's usually what gets people hooked. They
Oh,
read this and they go, I want to know more. I want to know how this turns out. I want to know what else happened. Absolutely.
okay,
Absolutely.
we'll do that.
Yeah.
I have a fun chapter that I can share.
Perfect. Oh, this is so exciting.
Very exciting.
Now, on your audiobook, I'm curious, are you going to read it or are you having someone else do it?
I will read it.
Yay!
That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be so fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. How exciting is this?
Really exciting.
Yeah.
I have a final, final reminder for your viewers
Okay.
to sign up for
Yes.
updates on my book, right? Go to avidatwork.com and you can get latest videos and updates on how the book is going.
Well, they should run, not walk, to avidatwork.com because you are such a good role model and coach for being more effective in your life and in your business and having fun.
Okay.
You are a having fun person.
I am, yes, yes, yeah, and I want to tell folks, this is the journey, this is what the map looks like. This is how it started.
I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
can't wait to see.
Good idea.
Judy's also the whiteboard queen.
This is where I started. Good idea.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like right here right now. I'm
Yeah.
like right there.
Yeah. That's what writing a book is like. It's not a straight path. It isn't. But you learn so much along the way.
I
You
did.
really, really did. And it's stuff that, you know, I know it started out as a passion project, but you got to know yourself better and you got to meet some amazing people because you were curious and you started having conversations. And, conversations are what fuel people getting to know you and buying your book and being clients and you having fun and having friends.
Yes. Conversation.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's more than the book. It's more than the book.
Oh, you are so cool. I am so honored that, you know, we've gotten to do things together and I'm so in awe of how quickly you got your book done. And it's inspiring me. I am working to get both of mine completed this year.
Yeah.
If there was one thing you wanted us to know about you that we don't already know, what would that be?
Thing, let's see. Okay, in seventh grade, I ran out of money for bus fare. So my friend and I had to walk 12 miles home. I don't know how, but we ended up on 880 on the freeway. So we started walking on 880 home
And
until we were picked up. This gentleman drove up in a car and said, I was 12, okay, 12 years old. You girls are gonna get arrested if you're continuing walking the freeway. So he drove us home.
wow. Oh, goodness. But you were determined to get home.
That was, yeah. No cell phones. No, I only had 10 cents in my pocket. I couldn't even make a phone call.
Oh, oh. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So crazy. So crazy. Judy, tell people a little bit more about how you work with clients so they get a sense of not only are you an author, but you also do these other really cool things.
Yes, yes. I help female leaders declutter their minds and live with intention. And we go through fun exercises on Post-its to help them prioritize everything in their heads on Post-its.
I love it. I love it. You're just such a bright light and make a big difference in the world. Well, I appreciate you being willing to do this live with me. I don't think anything bad happened. And then we'll have the recording. It'll be up on Facebook. And I want to all encourage you to go to Avid at Work to see what Judy does. And so you can learn about her book, which is coming out in September in both print, ebook, and audio. So you are fabuloso, my dear.
Thank you for having me today. And thank you for the advice. Oh my God, it was like a free consultation.
Well, thank you for asking those questions because I kind of usually sneak that stuff in and I'm fine with it being very obvious what we're doing. If people want folks to find their books, it really is important not to hide. You know, there Oh, I heard this astounding statistic today. There's been a 275% increase in self-publishing in the last 3 years.
275%, 200.
Yeah. I mean, does that number just make your head go, what? Yeah. And I think we're seeing better and better books. And there's all different kinds of interesting things happening in publishing, which just gets better and better and better. And so
Yes, it does.
your book needs to be out there. And with that, I'm going to end our author spotlight on Judy Dang and Perfect Enough.
Perfect enough.
Yeah. So you can find me at bookmarketingmentor.com. I'm Judy Baker, and I'll see you in the author spotlight.